guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to be doing a library haul. I checked out a bunch of books from the library the other day, and you guys seem to be responding really well to the book videos that I've been posting, and so I figured I would hop on here and just show you which ones I got to read for this month. Now, I am definitely not going to get through all these books this month. I actually don't even know which ones I'm going to begin with, but I figured I would get on here and share them in case you're looking for something else to read too. You can check out some of these titles. And yeah, let's get started. So a couple of these are for the kids. Two of them are part of our school curriculum this month. We started the Gather Round Europe unit, and so I got this book, Where is Stonehenge? I just love these who is or who was or where is series books. The boys really enjoy reading them, and I feel like they do such a great job of packing a lot of information into such a small book. And so yeah, this is one that they'll be doing on their own independently. So there's that one. The next one, because in our Europe unit, we're going to be talking a lot about World War I and II, I wanted to read them The Diary of Anne Frank. So this is something that we will be reading out loud. Our current read aloud is actually kind of along the same lines. It's a World War II story. And it's called The Upstairs Room by Johanna Rees. And that was a book that I actually had to read in 6th grade. And it left such an impression on me that to this day I have never forgotten that book. And so that's what we're currently reading now. And I'll tell you more about that when I do my February book wrap up. So the next book is actually a trilogy series. This is actually the 3rd book in the series. The other 2 haven't arrived at the library for me to pick up yet. But this series is by Colin Malloy. And to be honest, I'm not really sure how we're going to like this series. I have really just found very mixed reviews on this series. Some people are like, oh yes, you have to read it. It's awesome. It has major like C.S. Lewis, Narnia vibes, Tolkien vibes. And so I'm like, ooh, okay. And then other people are like, no, it was horrible. It was so dragged out. There are elements in there we didn't like. And so I really don't know what to think of this book. But the cover gave off, there was a book we read, I think 2 years ago called Snow and Rose. And I want to say the author was like Emily Winfield something. I don't know. I'll have to look it up and I'll pop it in here for you guys. But this cover just reminded me of that book. And that book to this day, like I said, it's been at least 2 years, I think, since we read it. The boys still say that book was one of their favorite read alouds. And it was honestly one of my favorites as well. And so I was like, you know what? It's worth a shot. So as soon as we get the first book in this isn't part of our curriculum. This will be something that we just read at nights when we do like night read alouds. So we don't do those every day. But that'll be our next one. So I'm anxious to see what this is all about, and I will let you guys know what we think. So the next, let's see how many I have here. 5. So the next 5 books that I have here, 3 of them are actually by the same author, but we'll get to that. So the first one is The Library of Legends by Janie Chang. Now, I actually received an ARC of this book by NetGalley, and I really do make a serious effort to read the books before their release dates so that I can share them on their book birthdays or somewhere around the time that they're released, because I know how much that helps an author with pre-order campaigns and that first so many weeks of sales. But I don't always get to do it. And this is one of the ones that unfortunately I did not get a chance to review before it came out. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to probably like half read it on my Kindle, half read it in the book form. But I saw it available and I was like, let me snag it. So this one actually takes place in China. And I want to say, I think the year it starts off is 1937. And basically it's a story of these 2 college students who are living during the time of the Japanese invasion. And so something happens and they're forced to like kind of hide out in their university because it's unsafe to get to like their hometowns or something like that. And they end up having to walk, I want to say like thousands of miles. Yeah. Okay, so they have to walk thousands of miles to safety. And so anyway, basically they are entrusted to this collection of books that are like over 500 years old. And so there's kind of like a budding romance between the two main characters, and it sounded really good. And the bookworm that I am, I was like, oh wait, they have to protect these like century-old collections. Yes, I'm so there for it. So I'm super excited to finally begin this book, and at some point, whether it's in February or not, I will be letting you guys know what I think of that one. So the next one is The Black Swan of Paris. And I honestly don't even remember exactly what this book was about when I decided to add it to my list. And like I said in my last video, I just have a tendency, I'm drawn to historical fiction stories, particularly World War II stories. And that half has to do because I just love that time period. I love those stories. And it also has to do with a project that I'm working on that I've been working on for a long time. But I don't make moves with my writing projects until I'm 100% sure in the direction I want to go. And I'm super excited because I can't share yet, but I just found something just happened that kind of cleared the path for me to move forward with this project. And I've kind of been like stuck because I don't even know how to say this without spoiling it. But basically the path that I thought I needed to go with this project, I didn't really feel comfortable going that route, but there was no other option. The option that I wished was available was not, but now it is. And so I'm sure, I hope, I pray in the coming months that I will be able to tell you what in the world I just blabbered on about. But anyway, The Black Swan by Karen Robards. So basically this is a story set in Paris in like 1940s. It's during World War II. I want to say it was 1942. Okay, so it's 1944 in Paris. But anyway, it's about this girl who ends up joining the resistance and the role that she plays in the war at that time. So yeah, I know that's kind of vague, but it sounded really good and I'm excited to read it. Okay, so the next three books are all by Viola Shipman. Now, I have never read a Viola Shipman book, and she's got several. Actually, I think I just got an email today that another one that I had placed on hold just arrived, and it's called The Summer Cottage. But I will probably, honestly, I probably won't even end up checking that one out because I typically start reading like my summer feel books in like May. But I'm definitely looking forward to reading at least one of these this month. So the recipe box was the first one that I had stumbled across. And actually, this is another thing that I love about my Kindle is I love how when you finish reading a book, they give you a list of suggested titles that are similar to the one you just finished. So I don't remember what book it was exactly that I had just finished when this popped up on my screen, but it immediately caught my eye. One, because this little wooden recipe box, I have one almost identical to it, and so that caught my eye. But I also loved the story, which I don't even remember what it was, so let's recap. Okay, so the Mullins family recipe box holds the secrets of one family's past and future. Growing up in northern Michigan, Sam felt trapped by her family's orchard and pie shop, where generations before her had lived and run the business. She left with dreams of becoming a classically trained pastry chef and making her own mark on the world. But life as an overworked, undervalued sous chef at a reality star's New York bakery is not what Sam imagined, and she returns home to take inventory. One beloved, flour-flecked, ink-smeared family recipe at a time, Sam begins to learn about and understand the women in her life, her family's history, and her passion for food through their treasured recipe box. As Sam discovers what matters most in her life, she opens her heart to a man she left behind, but who now might be the key to her happiness. Okay, so now I totally remember why I wanted this book. Number one, I like the little recipe box, and I love to bake, and I love trying different recipes. But the women in my family are very big on our family recipes. And so my sister, my cousin, all of us, my mom, my aunt, my grandmothers, we're constantly texting and calling each other. Do you have, mom's recipe for this? Or do you have Yaya's recipe for that? Or Ma's recipe for this? Or Thea? And so we're constantly using our family recipes, and we're sharing them. And for our bridal showers, my mom actually gave my sister and I both a cookbook where she hand wrote like a ton of our family recipes. And so over the years, we're constantly adding to those cookbooks. And so, I don't know, it gave me all like those good feelings, and I was like, oh, this sounds really good. So now that I read that again, I'm like, yeah, this is definitely the one I'm gonna read next. So this will probably be next, and then the Black Swan of Paris, and then the Library of Legends, only because the Library of Legends, if I have to return that, that's okay, because I have it on my Kindle. So the ones that I have to return will take first priority. Now, the other two Viola Shipman books are The Hope Chest and The Charm Bracelet. So I'm not gonna go into what they're about. To be honest, I have no idea. I'm assuming there's some light element of romance and family history, and so they just sounded really good because, I mean, they sound really good. So yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I hope that maybe I gave you a couple new ideas for books to put on your list. If you've read any of these, please let me know what you thought of them in the comments with no spoilers, without giving any spoilers. And if there are any book suggestions that you have for me, please drop those below too, because there are several that you guys have left on my past couple book videos that I have read and I really enjoyed. So yeah, I want to hear what books you're reading and loving. And if you check any of these out, let me know. So don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video, and subscribe if you're not already, and ring the bell if you want to be notified when I post in the future. As always, thank you guys for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.